Okay, good morning. This is morning call number 3. I just called my friend Brett Blackburn. I had to talk to him about it, some stuff. I wanted to ask him where my buddy Norton was, and I go through the whole call and I forget to ask him. So I'm going to call him back, see if he'll go live on the morning show, the morning call.
Hello?
Hey, Brett.
Yeah.
I forgot. Hey, I want to alert you. You're live right now on the morning call. It's a show I do on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah. So it goes out to my 11,000 followers on Twitter and my subscribers on YouTube. So hey, let's talk about your plant sale. What do you got going on?
Oh, we've got a whole greenhouse full and polyhouse full of plants, and they're all been inside, protected. Everything looks good. I mean, you name it. Everything from annuals to perennials to shrubs and trees. And, you know, the annuals and the herbs and the tomato plants and everything are just looking phenomenal.
Well, it looks like you probably have really one of the largest greenhouses in Topeka, right?
Well, I certainly, everybody calls different things, greenhouses or whatever, but I have a really nice indoor greenhouse, but we certainly have the most plants of anybody, I would say, undercover any place. So everything doesn't get beat up by the wind and the rain and the hail and the cold temperatures. So yeah, it's
well, yeah. I can't think of a guy or anybody else that's got a bigger greenhouse than you. And I mean, not counting all the little out greenhouses you got, but I mean, you got, well, anyway, you got a great place out there. And hey, I called you. Today's Norton Bonaparte's birthday.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he's like a friend of mine on Facebook. Where is he now?
He is down in Florida. I'm getting old. I can't remember. He's the place where they had where the kid was killed by the guy that had so much press and notoriety.
Okay, well, I thought he was in Jacksonville, Florida.
No, he's
oh, Sanford.
Sanford, yeah.
Yeah, he's in Sanford.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Macerich actually used to own a strip center in Sanford, and
he's doing a really good job for him down there. I'm very happy.
He was really a good guy.
He did a great job for Topeka. He kept the size of government and lowered and kept the taxes down. And I mean, what more can you ask? You get lower taxes and better services. It's pretty hard to beat.
Well, I know everybody, but we were sure as a community mean to that guy.
Yeah,
I thought we were.
Yeah, he wasn't the powers that pull the marionette strings behind the rope. He didn't necessarily do everything they wanted when they wanted, and he kind of ran the city like he was supposed to, like it was his job to make the city better and more efficient. He did that. That made some people mad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he went in with a non-political agenda, and that pissed people off.
Yeah, he was a consummate professional. He was. And if you go back and look where he was back on the East Coast and every place else, he has always done a really good job.
What was were you part of hiring him?
Yes, in fact, I worked really hard to get him hired. I did a lot of the legwork for the council at that time, to the background, where he went and took on the mafia back on the East Coast, and he was installed in a town by Christy Todd Whitman, who was the governor, and the state police wanted to escort him to work every day, and said, well, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. So he just went in by himself without an escort, and he helped turn it around.
Wow, I didn't know all that.
Yep.
Hey, you're enlightening our viewers.
Well, that's what I try to do.
So the people that pull the strings on the marionette, That's kind of interesting because it's like people don't understand there's a whole level of government above the president.
Yes, there is. The other thing is, now that I got your big vast audience there, we're talking about how retail has been suffering and, things have been, but it all boils back down to is everybody's got to shop at home and shop local, because when you do that, you're keeping those brick and mortar businesses that are paying for your police and your fire and your repair crews and everybody that takes care of all the things they want, and all the young people that like to have bike trails and entertainment plazas and entertainment venues. They're not being paid by the big mail order catalogs. They're getting paid by those people that have the store, and you may save a few cents going someplace online with shop local.
Well, yeah, and I think, and I always hate to be critical, but I do not like their slogan, shop small. Shop big. Get out there, spend a lot of money, but spend it local.
Yeah, because, when it goes back into your local community, it doesn't matter what community you're in. If it goes back to a local merchant, that money is circulated through the economy 7 to 10 times, and it's taxed every time. So that money goes in the community, and it helps provide jobs. And those people that have jobs spend that money in that community. So,
well, I got to tell you, 33% of our sales tax comes from outside Shawnee County, and there isn't better economic development in this community than retail development. And I know that's a real self-serving.
No matter what anybody says, it's the retail that pays the way. You look at the rate that the retail businesses pay, it's much, much, much higher than homeowners. And most of the big industrial job providers will say, or most of them are exempt from property tax.
Were you ever a planning commissioner?
I was planning commissioner for, I think, 2.5 years before I went to the city council.
Well, that's a thankless job. I did that for a lot of years and then was on the board of zoning appeals.
Yeah, and it's very important, but people have to, instead of just having political appointees, they need to have, in fact, that's one of the things I did when I was in the council, got the laws changed, so you have, engineers and architects and business people, and then just average citizens. So you got to have a little bit of expertise on there, but you got to get a broad range so everybody understands, what it takes to move a community forward. But in the end, usually it's all controlled by city councils and county commissions, and if they're controlled by certain people, then it really can hurt a community.
Well, one of my biggest challenges I have day-to-day professionally is dealing with the book smart guys down in the planning department, because they try to create markets with their plans and it just won't work.
So much of development has to be driven by the private sector, because it's all about profit and loss, and serving customers. You've got to be able to give the customers, the consumers what they want. And just because it says in a book, here's what you need, that doesn't really mean that happens. It's kind of like they don't want to strip out major arterials with commercial, but yet that's where the traffic is, but yet they'll put a school right in the middle of a major arterial and then slow down the traffic to 20 miles an hour during the school zone times.
Well, it's market driven, but what's really crazy is and it's almost like everybody has a chip on their shoulder against the mall, when the mall creates almost $7 million in real estate taxes, and they want to drive everybody downtown. And if you were downtown, that's the consummate place of the most intense zoning. So we want you to do business and live downtown where you've got the most zoning, but over here on this corner, we don't want to give you commercial zoning because we really were trying to create a market. That's just kind of some of the stuff I've been running into lately.
That can really happen. But and the other thing is, no matter what people say, if people want to be in a certain part of town and shop in a certain part of town, you're never going to be able to force them to say, I want you to go here. Because whether it's geographic location, whether it's, just scenery. The market where people want to go, that's where you need to create the market. And that's why usually the developers and people know how how and where to put things.
Well, we as a community, we need to start figuring out how to save the mall, not kill it. And, my background being in the mall business, we're going to have to start figuring out, it is truly our town hall. And, the mall owner needs to maybe make some changes of being a little more event oriented. The mall itself is going through some changes in ownerships over the years. But one thing about the mall is they're ready to do deals. And I think you're going to see a turn in the community as far as some economic development deals. So, I'm real.
And I do think that the mall, have started to slip, but, they need to bring more events and more things in, and not just be a place where, kids can hang out and people don't want to go because kids hang out, because they have the infrastructure, and that's the important part,
Well, we generate so much sales tax there, but Blackie, I think, we're on to something, and you're on to something, and I think some new deals that you're going to see in the community about creating a shop local. I mean, the best of both worlds would be to drive our pull factor from 33% up to 60%, and have import those dollars, have people go home at night, and we have less traffic in our streets and less need. And we built.
And also, we need to have people who work here live here. That's really important.
Right. You know that
you don't want to consume our services and take the money out of the community.
I'm not turning our nose up. I'm not turning our nose up at Target, Home Depot, and the bakery out there. But from a growing the tax base standpoint, there you only receive $25,000 in real estate taxes out of that area.
Right.
So so it's just, how do guys like me figure out what the net effect is in economic development for the jobs it created? It's not like there's just not like a report we can go to say, well, hey, the bakery's currently contributing this much. There's just not like an online equation. Neanderthal guys like me just look up, property tax, and it's pretty easy to guesstimate sales tax or actually get the numbers. But so when you consider that economic development compared to the retail of just the mall, it's $25,000 versus $7 million.
Yeah.
So
but you also have the not just the property tax, but you have the huge sales tax.
Well, yeah, the $7 million is property and sales together.
Okay.
Because before I did the pizza pub deal, I did a lot of research on sales tax in that area. And, retailers are usually proud of their number. Yeah, we do $8 million out of that store. And, it's something you talk about. I mean, it's not a trade secret, really, sales volumes.
Right.
Well, hey, Blackie, I'll get out and see you. I appreciate all you do, and thanks for being on the morning call.
Same to you. Keep working. Thanks.
All right, brother. You'll always find it here. Brett Blackburn. I was involved with the transaction where his nursery was at 29th and Fairlawn a long time ago. And, in hindsight, you don't get into the gift business, but the greenhouse. So what I'm saying is, all he needed to do was build a new greenhouse where he was, and instead of Heritage Bank and the Blue Moose, boom, Blackie be in place. But that's the risk of being an entrepreneur, and he risked a lot. And old Blackie, he's an interesting guy. You know, he's the epitome of a capitalist. You know, he's got a problem. He just goes to work and works harder. You know, I'll do a video out there. He's been riding around one of those scooters. But if you're in Topeka, go out to Blackburn Nursery. See Brett Blackburn. Tell him you saw it on the morning call at Room McClure.